My word, bit weird that they sort of came out and said the Queen was a lizard the entire time. I mean, come on, that's weird. Jeez. I mean, ugh. Anywho, hello and welcome to the
Traditionally, we
Walking
start the
Skull.
podcast with hello, Sean.
Oh.
I was gonna get to the hello. Hello, welcome to the Walking Skull podcast. I'm Sean Scullion, the skull part of it, where you look inside, all of it is empty, nothing but empty thoughts and a couple of weird film opinions. And here with me today is the other part of the Walking Skull mantra, the walking part, Mr. Martin Walker. And we also have a guest today.
Hi, I'm
This
Emily
is
Bison.
Yeah, you need to
Do
say
you
her
want to
name.
introduce me? Or
I'm the walking part of the walking skull because there's a high chance I have ADD. But
Wow.
let's go on to the guest.
Yeah, please introduce yourself again, just in case.
Well, I would say that I'm also the skull part of the podcast because, well, my pores aren't looking that good today, and it's like making me look very dried out, very like a skull. But hi, I'm Emily Bison. I'm famous for that video online. You might have heard of it. You might have.
Yeah, it's a great video. I recommend it. It's quite insane, actually. She does a lot of like backflips and shit. It's weird. I mean, no one really knew she was able to.
I mean, pouring the hot oil on my on my clitoris was pretty bad, but I mean, like, I mean, it got a lot of views. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
I felt the police weren't necessary, but they turned up.
Yeah, they did turn up, but well, some people viewed it and they were like, well, this is kind of a hate crime to my eyes. So they were like,
Sean,
we need to call the cop.
Sean, what do we do on this show?
Well, besides some riffing, we talk about movies and shows and other such things. We talk about what we watched this week. I mean, there's only three things you can do in this sort of in this podcast. We talk and riff and because we can't go outside because the world's on fire right now and it's not fun, Chief.
And we've got a guest because I hate myself as an editor and feel like adding a third voice in would be easy.
I think it's a great idea. I think that it would be it's so good for you because like I think you needed the representation, you know. I think you have a lot of straight white men on here, so you know it's very brave of you having a white woman on your podcast.
Excuse me, the correct term nowadays is super straight.
What is that? Right, okay, I need to talk to you about this super straight thing because I talked to Thomas and my roommate and my flatmates through there about you guys calling yourself the super straights, and apparently
before we go any further, I don't actually call myself super straight.
The super straights, right, is like an actual thing, right, by the way, and they're a bunch of like cis men who don't include trans women and other that are just trying to make a point that yeah, I'm straight, but only for real women. So there's the super straights. Have you heard of that phenomenon, or is this a completely different thing?
I have heard of them. I honestly thought they were calling them super straights just for compensation.
I mean, if you're I think it's very interesting. I think that like it really shows how people really need to go outside.
Sure.
And I especially the straight men, they need to go outside, just take a fresh air and just maybe think about why the fuck why are you doing this? Maybe think what inspired you to make this make this your fight. Yeah, I understand that it is the straight men are being oppressed. There are trans women wanting to date people. Whoa, just vile. I can't believe that, but it's definitely it's very strange. But we do live in hell country, so
we don't live in hell country, Emily. I have to correct you on this. We live in a society, don't you know?
Oh yeah, we do. Well, Zack Snyder did say that once, and
it was very bold of him to sort of like say, guys, the answer to all your problems is you live in a society.
I mean, he is right. I mean, that is what Karl Marx said as well, famously in his book, 12 Rules for Life. So
Anyway,
I mean,
Sean, I've been watching Wayne on Amazon Prime.
What a transition.
that's what they said about me. They said, what a transition.
Yes. Oh.
Guys, get used to this. Get used to this. I fucking entered your podcast and I'm ruining it with my queerness. I'm pouring it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's only my nana listening. Hey, nana. That's about it.
Wait, are you? Is your nana actually listening?
Not right now, but she always listens back to the podcast and tells Sean off for swearing too much.
Well, I'll let me just say this straight to your nana. I didn't actually pour hot oil on my clitoris, so don't worry about that. Don't you worry about that.
Okay, so Mark, what have you been watching?
So,
I love
Sean-
like just look at this the look of like regret and pain on your face, Martin. Just so much pain. You're like, oh, it'd be fun to. They said it would be fun to have Emily be son on my podcast. Nobody said she was gonna talk about pouring hot oil on her clitoris. My nan listens to this. How am I gonna edit out the clitoris bit? And here's the thing, Martin. You're not going to edit the clitoris bit.
Yeah, I don't edit this podcast.
Okay.
Welcome back from the edit, Sean.
Hello, how are you? I went into the
How are
edit
you
zone for a
doing
couple of
today,
minutes.
Sean? Welcome back from
yeah.
the edit. This is the edit of the show. Sean,
Oh
I've
my
been
gosh.
watching.
Whoa,
You better
what the
keep the
fuck,
clitoris
dude?
bit in. You
Oh,
better keep it in. I'm gonna keep
Oh.
saying it. I mean,
Sean, I've been watching Wayne on Amazon Prime, which is about Wayne, a 16-year-old dirty Harry with a heart of gold. What does a dirty Harry mean? I don't know. IMDb writes the most weirdest plots
Yeah.
where he's going on a trip from Boston to Florida to steal back his gold Trans Am.
Is what?
Trans Am is a type. It's a type of car, Sean, that is golden.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I don't know much about cars. I'm an asexual man. I don't know much about cars.
Smoking.
Oh, no, well, I assumed that would mean you would know more about cars.
Yes.
you
Sean.
think? Yeah, you think so, wouldn't it? But I don't. It's
I mean,
weird.
as I know, most asexual people love Mario Kart, so there must be like a certain thing there. You know what I mean?
For sure. Although I do have like Crash Nitro Kart, although I don't know if that counts or
Oh,
anything.
I'm so good at that. That's like my favorite game. I have like 40 hours in that. I've been playing the online of that a lot recently. I absolutely love Crash Nitro. What the fuck? It's Crash Team Racing Nitro, right?
Yeah,
Is that what it's
that's
called?
it.
I think that's the full name.
It's no
Yeah, it's the-
Nickelodeon Tunes kart, so both of you are losing.
Yeah.
I don't get a
Well, I mean, it's
in
no
either of them. I
Garfield
don't get
kart,
a choice of
so-
being in Garfield. I don't get a choice of being a Ninja Turtle. It's gone for me. It's done.
Well, you can't be Garfield in Nickelodeon karting, so that counts.
You have a little bit of drugs in your system, and you just think you know everything.
I do not think I know everything. This is just like my sort of persona for the podcast, you know. I'm trying to come across as like a sort in real life. If you meet me, I'm like, hey, do you wanna hang out with me? But on the podcast, I become like my drag persona, ho cut a bitch, and you know that. That's what you're dealing with, you know.
Sean, you're the host. You're losing control here.
I am.
No,
I don't
bitch,
know where
I'm
to
the
laugh.
host of this podcast now.
Oh, I don't know where to laugh or cry. But so Martin, tell us about Wayne. What is Wayne?
I don't give a fuck anymore. What is Wayne?
Ah.
Sean, we were trying to keep it as a straight man back there. You were trying to be in charge, but
I'm sorry.
this is a
I'm
new
really good-
podcast now. Welcome to the Three Amigos.
No
Wait,
affiliation with the
can't
Steve
say-
Martin movie.
Look,
Yeah,
no,
can't say
you guys
Three
aren't the
Amigos
straight
anymore.
man. You're the super straight man, right? I mean, that's what you guys are going for, right?
Welcome to the Super Straights. Straight power.
Martin, aren't you bisexual?
Super Straights.
Super straights.
Okay.
We've snuck it in.
We're gonna make all the subliminal messaging in the world. So, Wayne, from what I've heard, it's an Amazon Prime show that was originally a YouTube original series.
I believe so, Sean. So am I just editing out the whole bit of all that we've just done?
You shouldn't edit that out. It's funny.
I think I'm going to put up 2 different episodes now. I'm going to put up the edited and unedited.
No, you got to put up the unedited. I think like, see, the thing is, what people want to listen to is people being funny. I mean, that's what I listen to.
Why are they listening to us then?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Come on, Martin, we're funny. Why would you say that about us, man? We're really funny.
Hey, I'm fucking hilarious to myself.
Look, you're bringing in a whole new audience with me. You're bringing in
The Super Straights.
the super straights. Because as we all know, they're only attracted to real women like me.
I apologize to whoever's listening to this. It is very late at night for us. We are a bit losing.
It's 8 o'clock.
It's not that
me
late,
and
Martin.
Sean go to bed together, super straight, at 8 o'clock at night.
Do you
Is that
keep
why
each other on call? Do you just like because you like to listen to each other while you sleep?
Yeah,
Like,
we actually
like-
film about 10 episodes of Walking Skull a day. We just don't edit. We just don't put them up. Super straight.
Yeah, we record 2 versions. We record the normal version, and then we just sort of go for the whole super straight.
the making out
however-
version. I mean, I
lifestyle.
like the whole super straight thing, but like when you posted that video of you 2 making out, I mean, I thought that was a very interesting podcast.
That
you
is
know?
behind our paywall. Our OnlyFans
Oh,
is up now.
You'll have to subscribe on Patreon for that one.
Yes. You'll have to subscribe on Patreon, OnlyFans, where Sean shows you his fans.
I mean, I follow
Not sexual.
Walking Skull on fucking OnlyFans, and I gotta say, there is nothing super straight about that stuff. There is nothing.
I'm more confused that you're following Waking Skull. Sean said the title a good 10 minutes ago.
Look, okay, like I'm dyslexic, so that's a hate crime.
I'm sure there's other ones we can figure out by the end of this recording. Super straight.
Super straight.
I am not going super straight. I do not want that.
You've got it, and I'm gonna edit it.
I don't. I like.
I've now edited.
I am
given me that
risking
stuff to edit.
cancellation by being on your guys' podcast, like just in like in general. So like, I mean, super straight.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna have super straight put in every edit. That if you hear super straight said, that means I'm probably editing it.
Or it just means that we said it a lot during this podcast, which is another option.
We kind of tend to what's the word we're looking for? Rag on a certain topic. The super straight thing is quite a good thing to rag on.
Is that the name of this episode? The Super Straight WandaVision episode? Getting on track? Getting on topic? Segue?
I'm very lazy. I don't name these episodes. This is episode 10, and that's all it will be.
You need to hire me. I need to look. You need to hire me. I can do your editing. I can do your branding. I can do everything.
I would like to hire you, Emily, but I hired you as a host of a show, and then you fucked off.
Look, I'm a different person now, you know, like that. I was on a course I hated. I was depressed. I was on no medication. Look, now
Emily's no longer on the course
medication,
but
now I'm on too much medication, so I'm great at everything. So there you go. Remember to over medicate. Don't. There's so many clips of me from this podcast now that could be cut and edited out, and Super straight.
On the subject of super straight, me and Martin talked about
This
this.
isn't
up with a
Walking
super
Skull
straight.
anymore. We've given up on
We
Walking
came up with a before we continue though, I want to mention me and Martin came up with a new duel that we're gonna like dress up as if somebody out there decides to have a straight pride parade, we're gonna dress up as superheroes, super straight man and his sidekick, incel lad, and just sabotage the straight pride parade.
Super
And just
straight
be
man
like,
and incel lad are my favorite DC villains.
just run
Villains.
in there and be
Villains.
just running.
I'll have you know that we've kept that alive. So we are the heroes of our own story.
You guys are like the Joker, you know. You think you guys are like fucking the heroes, but at the end of the day, it is Captain Trans that is saving the day. So I mean, like, and so incel, like literally incel man and super straight or whatever the fuck. I come in and I fucking beat you up with my superpower of being a trans woman, which just means that I'm depressed. So that's my superpower.
Yeah, just comes in and goes, I'm going to use my powers of depression, leans her head forward, and just a big smog cloud comes forth from the skull. I don't know. Is that how depression works?
Yes. Yes, Tom. Yeah, yes, Sean. Sorry.
Tom. I need to check my notes on this one.
Look, that wasn't a Freudian slip.
So anyway, Wayne.
It looks bad. Wayne looks bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Wayne-
I haven't seen
Wayne-
it. The reason why is it
Mark
looks bad. How
McKenna,
is
Sia
it?
Bravo, and Joshua James Williams are the main people in this. It's actually pretty good. I wasn't expecting a lot because that era of YouTube originals only really had Logan Paul stuff, PewDiePie stuff, and then Cobra Kai, and that was it.
Yeah, like I don't think it's like doing well that much anymore. Like
There were those Smosh movies that like there was that one that was like about like one of their roommates died or something, and then like
I said
like,
what I said. The only real ones they had were the PewDiePie stuff, the Logan Paul.
Okay, yeah, exactly. But also, wait, are you counting the Logan Paul thing as one of the real things though?
Oh, the film.
And the PewDiePie thing, they both suck. Everything on YouTube or YouTube Plus sucks. Like there is nothing you can watch on there. Like there is no reason to subscribe to YouTube Originals. I don't even want you guys to get
that's why they
sponsorship.
sold it off completely.
So bad.
Wait.
It's so bad. I hate it. I mean, I had YouTube Original for about a year because I forgot to cancel my subscription, and also it was kind of like good being able to like close a window and be able to like listen to what I was watching, because like I kind of use a lot of YouTube videos as podcasts anyway. But the price is just so not worth it. Oh, and they also sent me a Google Home, which is cool. But yeah.
We've got 10 minutes left in this recording, and we've barely
Wait,
talked
has it
about
been
anything.
40 minutes already?
It's been a half hour already.
We haven't even really done introductions.
Yeah. Shall we maybe we'll just fanny around for a little bit longer, and then we'll do a
Alright.
proper one next
Sure.
Zoom call.
Am I invited for another podcast? Am I, or is this it? Is this it for me? Am I?
You're done. Never.
You're
No.
fired.
I mean, I'm
this anymore.
cancelled after this podcast. I mean, like I've heard the things that you guys say on the other ones. Shocking, downright shocking.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, the good. I mean, if you want, we'll give you like a route of exit. We'll give you two types of exits. You could do one where you leave gracefully and not bother anyone, or have the Piers Morgan route where you literally stomp your feet and scream, "Nope, can't take this anymore." So we have like
Or
two
a
options.
third option, you can have the Trump route where you have all your followers storm a place. Your choice. It can be an Aldi, it can be a Big W, although I don't think Big W's exist anymore.
Nope.
Or it can be in Iceland, but it's only those three places.
I mean, can I tell you guys a story?
And she took too long. Goodbye, everyone.
What's the story?
All right. Well, once I was having like a really bad time. Like this is and it was
8
when
minutes, 22 seconds. 8 minutes, 20 seconds.
All right. Well, I can tell. All right. I was having a really bad time. Okay. So I was having this really bad time, and I went to Iceland.
8 minutes,
and
10 seconds.
I started oversharing to the woman at Iceland by mistake. She was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I was like, "Not the best." And then she
8
was like,
minutes.
"Oh, why is that?" And I was like, "Oh, I haven't slept." And then she was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that." And now every time I went to the Iceland, which is now shut down, we would talk, and I would talk about how I was doing better or worse or whatever, and it was really nice actually. But I'm very sorry to that woman at Iceland for oversharing. I should have just said fine. I should have just said I'm doing fine.
It's fine. She was one of our ranks. She was super strict.
That's why it closed down, because it wasn't because of coronavirus. Someone went in there and just sort of like said they weren't super straight, so they were like, "Fuck it, we can't have the store anymore. Close it. We can't. Iceland is the home to the super straights."
I love that. I love that for you guys.
It's our safe
I love
space.
that for you guys. Well done.
It's super straight headquarters.
Great. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that you have a place. A place
We
Why-
have
where
a safe place where
Why
we
do you
can
think
feel
this-
heard.
Why do you think the slogan is "All mums go to Iceland"? That's a false lie. It's a cover, you see.
all mums go to Iceland apart from lesbian mums.
Yeah, we don't allow lesbian mums in
That's
our
why it says-
Trans mums.
It says all
Or-
real mums go to Iceland. We also don't let stepmoms in.
all real mums.
They must have a certificate. They must have a certificate of proof. If they don't, we are legally allowed to kick you
Yes.
in the knee and get you out of the
We are
building.
starting the super straight mum college, where if you go there, you can get one. It's coming up now.
Mm. And
I don't know why I'm
don't-
pointing at the camera because we're
All
not
real
recording
mums
video
go to
on this.
Iceland. I love that. You know, wait. I find it so funny that there's only 5 minutes left on the recording, but
Excuse me, 5 minutes, 50 seconds.
are we gonna end it here, or are we going to
No.
like?
No, we
No.
need to record. We need to record a podcast today.
We're
This is-
gonna
this-
come back. I'm gonna see what I can do with this one, but we'll do a proper one in like 5 minutes, 36
5
seconds.
minutes.
No, wait,
Like,
but
we
is this one getting uploaded?
No, we do like
No?
an hour stint.
we can make it into its own.
I'm gonna no,
episode.
not this alone. I'm
Alright.
gonna
Oh, so this
splice
is
it
like the
in.
first half of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna spice
Okay,
it in with the other stuff,
cool.
and then we'll actually talk about shit in the next.
Wait,
one.
okay, well, how about you just make this the first half, so you don't have to do too much editing. You could set it so this is the first half of the podcast, and then there's like a little like sound effect in the middle or something, and be like, all right, we're gonna take a break, and then it like cuts.
Yeah, like someone could fart, and
That's
the
what
fart
I
sound
did.
effect
That's
can-
what I used to do with my
Yeah,
podcast, because
yeah,
we all
yeah.
had to take breaks to get water.
That,
Anyway,
that was pretty much the
Mm.
thing I just said, but okay.
but I suggested the fart sound effect. No
I
one went for it.
pretty
sorry
much-
for women
Disgusting.
explaining
What's
that.
wrong with farting? Are we cancelling farting now? Are you
Super
telling me
strict.
we have to cancel farting?
Get rid of
Oh
it.
my god!
Get
First
rid of
Pepe,
farting.
first Pepe Le Pew, then Dr. Seuss.
Whenever
and-
I fart, I have to announce it to everyone because I feel like if I don't
4
do
minutes, 30
that,
seconds.
I feel like if I don't announce my farting, someone else is gonna get blamed, and I
420
just
blaze
think
it.
that's bad.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
tend to do
will.
that.
I will 420 blaze it.
Yeah, well, I've
In the
done that.
break.
I've done the ones in the
410,
Starbucks. You're probably
maybe blaze it a little bit.
yeah. I've done the ones in the Starbucks. You're probably one of you were probably there. I stood up on a table and I yelled, I am about to flitter.
You
a
can always
big
tell
fart."
when Sean found himself funny because he can never finish the sentence.
It's definitely my
3 minutes, 50
kryptonite,
seconds.
my own laughter. It's probably a sign of arrogance, but I think it's just because I don't know, I'm an idiot and I like to laugh
You
at my
know,
own.
whenever I think of
340
kryptonite,
price
I
of a
don't
chicken
think of
kebab.
Superman. I think of the Disney Channel original show Shake It Up, which had a song called "Fashion Is My Kryptonite," and I just gotta say that's awful, and I hate whoever thought that was a good idea.
How could you get that into a rhyming scheme?
320,
Like,
blaze it.
Fashion is my kryptonite. Oh, it's like that.
It's
It's
like-
terrible.
It sounds dumb. Like the name alone sounds dumb. Fashion is my kryptonite. Who a real life person?
We'll play Fashion is my kryptonite in the in between bit. So you guys get to know what that sounds like.
And also, Emily is editing this one. Basically, is what she's decided. by saying
No,
that's-
guys, I am just.
Emily is now editing this podcast.
But seriously though, who on earth runs around the world and be like, "Hey, fashion is my kryptonite, everybody"? It's like
I
they're
believe-
wearing fashion technically.
Yeah.
Zendaya.
I believe Beyonce runs the world.
That was such a good one. That you should win many awards for that one. For that.
Also,
joke,
did Zendaya sing that? Like legitimately? Because I gotta say, I now want to see a cut of Malcolm Marie where Zendaya just runs around the entire place yelling.
Yeah, no, Zendaya is
220
the
plays
main
it.
character in that show. But can I just say I watched Spider-Man Homecoming recently and I just love Zendaya. I think she's great in that. She's really good. I think she's really funny. I think she's a really good actor, and I think she's like really evolved since her old Disney Channel days. Well, that's probably because she was a child. But yeah.
She's doing really well. Like I think she's like sort of came a
2
long
minutes
way,
left.
especially like starting off in the Disney Channel. Like I think she's given some of the some genuinely good performances recently. Like I think Malcolm Marie, despite what some people thought of it, I thought she was excellent in that movie, along with John David Washington. But overall, Zendaya has been doing some really good choices.
Yeah, she's really
Outside-
cool.
Minute 40.
Minute. We only have a few minutes, Sean. Get this
I was gonna-
Zendaya,
oh,
get
no.
the
Oh,
Zendaya
no.
rant done with, so we can be like, we're going on a break.
Wait. I'll do the cutaway to break that Corden does. I'm so funny. I'm James Corden.
Hello, everybody. It's me, James Corden. I'm so funny. Laugh at my jokes. It's me, James Corden. I'm gonna kill Domino Beast with a singular goddamn grapefruit. It wasn't a grapefruit. It was a blueberry. Oh,
So, people who are still listening, I imagine no one, we've got a minute before Zoom automatically cuts us. So we are going to be back in a minute. Maybe I'll talk about Wayne. Maybe Sean will talk about his thing. Maybe Emily will join the super straight ranks. You don't know.
I mean, you never know.
wow! What a crazy trip into the editing boy. So, Martin, tell us about Wayne.
Yes, so to have an actual conversation about Wayne, I thought it was an all right show. It wasn't life-changing. It was Mark McKenna and Sia Bravo were the two leads, and I felt that they were really, really good together, even though it's about a relationship where he's 16 and she's 15, which is a bit weird in America. But I felt it was quite funny. It 90% of the time ended with Wayne beating the crap out of someone who had done him wrong, which can really weirdly, to go back to an episode me and Sean did before, connects with Wayne from Letterkenny, where that Canadian TV series where 90% of that finished with Wayne beating the crap out of someone. But yeah, I thought, as always, the best person in it was Mike O'Malley. He is most people know him as Kurt's dad, Bert from Glee. And I'm pretty sure, other than Justified, he plays the same love heart character who's just got a heart of gold and wants to help people.
Yeah, he looks like Michael Chiklis' younger, kinder brother in that regard.
Yeah, Wayne left it open for a second season. To be honest, I don't rush out to see it, but watch it if you've got nothing else to do.
You see, the thing is, I'm not a fan, like, being completely genuine here, which I haven't been on the entire podcast. I am like a big fan of DC, but like when I say that, I mean like I really like Harley Quinn, and I really like I like the gays. I like Harley Quinn, and I like the villains. I like that sort of thing. I'm partial to a good Joker portrayal. But like I really don't like any of the main DC superheroes. So like even though that show sounds cool, like I don't think I'll probably watch it because I don't really like Bruce Wayne. I think he's annoying.
I think this is the wrong Wayne, but okay.
This is not the exact same Wayne. Since one is from a makeup New York as of Gotham City, and Wayne that I watched is from Boston.
Right. Can I ask a question? Is it like set in DC, or am I being like completely dumb right now?
You are thinking about the TV show Gotham.
Yeah, I am.
Yes. Mine was a YouTube original.
Oh
Amazon
yeah,
bought.
sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, that's funny. Fucking hell. Great.
But yeah, it's free on Prime right now. Don't rush out to see it. It's not Cougar Town, but it's something.
Yeah, one thing you should know, Emily, is that this podcast, Martin is a massive Cougar Town stan. It's like probably the best show he's reviewed in this podcast. Yeah, Martin.
And this will be an update for the people who are listening. You thought you lost it when it left Amazon Prime in January. Disney Star has it now. If you're one of those shows that have bought Disney Plus, have you never seen Cougar Town?
No, I don't know what it is.
Oh, see, Cougar Town is Courtney Cox is a real estate agent in Cougar Town. It's not actually called Cougar Town. I'm going to double check. It's in Florida. I believe it's down near the bottom, and it is just her and her mates doing random adventures throughout the whole thing. It's done by the same guy who created Scrubs, Bill Lawrence, who also created mine's and Sean's favorite show last year, Ted Lasso, which recently Jason Sudeikis won a Golden Globe, was it?
Yeah, Golden Globe. And even a Critics' Choice Award as well.
Completely deserved it. But
Hell yeah.
I should really be saying listen to our previous episodes on it. But
yeah,
I actually will. Like, I haven't. I've not listened to many of your guys' podcasts, but like after being on it, it's making me want to go back and listen to the backlog.
You hear that? You're gonna hear, folks. We've got the best kind of endorsement around. Anywho, so going on to my thing. Martin mentioned New York earlier on. Well, I'm gonna do you one better. I'm going to be talking about a movie that's set in New York in the early 90s, which came out in 1999, directed by Martin Scorsese. This, of course, dear listeners, is the movie Bringing Out the Dead, starring Nicolas Cage, has a tired as fuck paramedic who hasn't slept in God knows how long, and it's him losing his mind, driving these three different ambulance drivers, and trying to save people and doing all this other stuff. Think Taxi Driver, but a lot more somber and a lot more insane. Like Martin Scorsese was like, I'm going to make the audience feel like they're tired and on a diet of nothing but soup and ADHD medication. I don't know. But yeah, plus, that Martin mentioned Star. It's
slight tangent before you go any further. Just because this has popped into my head.
Yeah.
And the ADD is kicking off. Has Scorsese ever done a happy film?
I think Hugo would probably count as a happy film. Like it's literally
forget he did Hugo.
Yeah, like so does everyone else, and people are like, I don't want to watch Hugo. It's a kids' film, and it's like,
Hugo's a great film. I remember seeing that. That was like I used to be very like because I was an autistic child, but like in a very different way to you, Sean. Like I was really scared by loud noises, so I was like really scared of the cinema till I was about like 15 or something, and like I remember not 15, like 12. That makes more sense. And the first movie I ever went into cinemas to see, like after I was like kind of just realized I was over like the whole being scared of the cinema, was Hugo. And I remember really enjoying it back then. I think I was like 12, so I don't have very strong memories of it, but it was very good.
Yeah, like Martin Scorsese is one of those filmmakers who can do no wrong, and if any of the
Martin Scorsese as a man is someone who can do a lot of wrong, and his films. Like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, like, I think that Psycho has a lot of really bad transphobia.
That's not him. That's Alfred Hitchcock you're thinking of. Martin Scorsese made Goodfellas and Taxi Driver.
So far, Emily has joined in the conversation twice and had got the subject matter wrong twice.
I mean, here's the thing, though.
Sorry, I got them mixed up because they're both like the filmmakers that film men love. You know, like they love the Scorseses, they love the Hitchcocks.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't watched any Scorsese films, but I've seen him in Shark Tale, not Shark Tale, fucking whatever the fuck.
Shark Tale.
Yeah, Shark Tale. It's right, Shark Tale. Avengers. WandaVision.
Anyway, so
How was Ving Rhames in it? I'm looking at the cast list right now.
Yeah. Oh, well, before I get to that, I just want to make a quick assumption about Scorsese and Hitchcock. Hitchcock, if he was alive, wishes he was Scorsese, and the only difference between why one's better than the other is because Scorsese makes movies that are not boring and whatnot, and also,
Fucking
to
get
my,
wrecked.
and also to my knowledge,
Fucked.
hasn't done anything weird of any of the women in his cast at all. So
Yeah, he has so much bad shit. Fucking Hitchcock, man. Like it's really annoying that there are so many filmmaker guys who will like sort of praise these directors without even thinking about all the horrible things they've done and how that influences a lot of their work. Because I genuinely do think that if you watch like a Hitchcock film, or if you watch like but all right, for an example of like a film that I've like seen, like if you watch the Harry Potter films, you can kind of tell just from the movies that like J.K. Rowling is a turf. You can tell that from the way that the movies are directed, the way that they're written.
Yeah.
And that's because like no matter what you want, like no matter who you are, like when you make a movie, that sort of stuff, like your personality impacts what the movie becomes. So like that's why there's so many fucking Woody Allen films about a creepy old man dating a young woman, and that's because he's a fucking creep.
Exactly.
Like it's like it's really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to have that rant.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Hey, as long as you got the
It's
guy
good.
right this time, it's fine.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, so if you're looking for anything to watch, I do recommend Bringing Out the Dead. It's probably got one of Nicolas Cage's best performances, but not in the sort of like, oh, he's going off crazy Nicolas Cage. It's a beautiful like performance where he's like legitimately playing this guy who is just done, basically. Like he's the sort of person who you just want to basically go have a nap, but he's like, no, man, I got to do this. And the rest of the cast is great. Tom Sizemore is psychotically amazing in it. Patricia Arquette is really, really good in it. Ving Rhames is just wonderful. He plays this sort of like very charismatic like guy. John Goodman's in it, and he's very good. Like
Can
it's a
I ask you a question, Sean?
yeah, sure.
Have you seen Willy's Wonderland?
I haven't. No, I've heard mixed things.
I want to, because like I love Nicolas Cage when he like plays good characters. I actually like I'm like an unironic Nicolas Cage stan. I think he's like probably one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
But like I really want to see Willy's Wonderland because like as you know, one of the cringe things I'm into is Five Nights at Freddy's. So I kind of want to see how they manage to portray that on screen. Like how much influence do they take? Is it actually scary? Like I've downloaded the film and I'm kind of excited to watch it. I think I might watch it this weekend. So I'll update you on what I think of it. But I do love Nicolas Cage.
I mean, who doesn't? Like, honestly, if anyone is like searching for anything on Disney, on the Star, the new thing that's open on Disney Plus, do check out Bringing Out the Dead. It's amazing.
Can I bring something up quickly about something I've been watching on Star?
Sure, go ahead.
That's why you're on the show. So.
Yeah. So I am a big fan of cartoons. They're probably like the media that I watch the most. I've been watching a lot of Adventure Time, been rewatching Steven Universe again. I just love cartoons. It's I love the art form and I love a lot of old ones. And I'm a big fan of The Simpsons as well. And I'm also a big fan of Futurama, which is all of it is on it's on Star, so it's all on Disney Plus. But I love that show and I think it's really funny. There's a lot of really, really good jokes in it. But two things. First off, on a more lighter note, did you guys know that there's an episode of Adventure Time where they get like the majority of the voice cast from Futurama to play incidental characters? It's called Everything's Jake, and it's an amazing episode where Jake is like actually kind of framed as being Bender in a slight way by the fact that his best friend is basically Fry, and they and introduce him, and they're the professors there. It's really funny. I really recommend it if you watch it. But the only other thing I will say, and I know like I keep going on about all of these things being problematic and all of this. Like I'm problematic too. I understand, but Futurama has definitely aged poorly from the transphobia angle. Many episodes are spent belittling trans women and belittling women in general. Like there's a lot of stuff in early Futurama which has aged very poorly. There's a specific joke where Bender gets X-ray vision and sees a woman on the street and scans in and then sees that she has a robot penis and goes, "That's not a woman," and runs away. And I just think that jokes like that and putting that sort of stuff on, like keeping that sort of stuff on Disney Plus, knowing that this is probably going to be watched by children, is like slightly irresponsible. And I think that they should especially get rid of the episode where Bender transitions to enter female sports and realizes and beats all the other women because he's actually a man. Like that sort of stuff that has no place in media these days. And I just think that it would be a lot really cool if they like, you know, had like a disclaimer or something before it, like they do for the racism stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is that obviously what it was bad and it was problematic now and probably back then for the community.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But Disney is actually now putting warnings in front of all that stuff.
Well, I actually
And you
watched
can actually
Fantasia this weekend, and that had a warning. But I actually think that a lot of people are like, you know, conservatives and just people in general will say that like having you know, having like queer people in kids movies is propagandizing children, which is obviously stupid. But these people will also still show their children Pinocchio, which is incredibly racist. Like we watched Pinocchio, and Pinocchio is still up on Disney Plus, and I think that film, which is to be shown to children, reinforces so much negativity towards Middle Eastern people that it really needs to be edited. Because even if you want to watch the original, which is completely fine, it has no place being shown to children, because that sort of stuff does influence the way children are brought up, and if they don't know any better or anything, you know, that could make a child a little bit racist. It's just really not good, and I think that they need to do something about it. I think it's with Futurama, I think it would be good if they just had a disclaimer, because I that show is for adults, and adults are more discerning of what they're watching. But for things like Pinocchio, I feel like children shouldn't be exposed to racism. That's my rant over.
No, that's fair enough. That's why we got you on, for a different point of view. So
yeah, like if we did the sort of Piers Morgan route and talked over you, nothing would be said. It'd just be noise. So it's better to have someone speak their views on those sort of things rather than just be like, no, you be quiet and listen to what I have to say while I yell over you. Because if you do have media that has aged terribly, I think it is a lot better just to sort of like put a disclaimer up where you're going to have people that are going to be like somewhat disturbed by some of the stuff on there, and it's like, yeah, it's fine. Like
it's not just disturbed, it's just like I mean, disturbed definitely, but it's also just like they're going to watch it and maybe think that these ideas are okay, like these ideas are tolerable for it actually has real world consequence, which like I think is very dangerous. But
I think that when it comes to it, I don't think that, obviously I defended Disney a little bit by saying they put the disclaimer on, but a disclaimer is literally just reading, and most folk don't want to read straight away.
No, I know most people will just like look at it like slowly and be like, not even read what it says. Like,
I think if most people, if they even like videoed, like they probably still have RDJ on retainer or something. If they even videoed him saying, "This is not what you need to do,"
well, they didn't
something like that.
This weekend, we watched a bunch of me and my friend Kirsten watched a bunch of old Disney films, and we had a really good time because we watched Alice in Wonderland. It's a very, very good film, and it's aged very well. And Fantasia, we also watched that, and I love Fantasia. The original Fantasia is awesome. Fantasia 2000 sucks ass. Like Fantasia has like some of the most amazing art ever, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it's just such a unique film, and from so many perspectives. It's like it's for me, it's a 5-star film. But of course, in the bit with the centaurs, there is actual blackface in it, which is very bad, and there is actual racism. They make the centaurs that are black have zebra hooves, which that's just like really fucked. I think that's like really bad. But they what they did with that one was, even though they didn't cut everything out, they cut out the main scenes that were really bad. And to be perfectly honest, I think that is the best way of dealing with it. I think that in that scenario, when that sort of movies are not really made for adults, they're made for children. I think that that sort of stuff should be cut out.
Absolutely. And if anyone's looking for anything to watch this weekend, anything besides Pinocchio or the bad stuff in Fantasia, do yourself a favor and watch Bringing Up the Dead by Martin Scorsese. Fucking yeah!
Yeah, bring it back.
What a
Transition, baby!
Or watch Wayne that I watched, maybe,
Or watch
if you want
all
to.
of WandaVision. Ooh, segue.
Yes, what a segue! Also, I gotta,
Wow.
I gotta be honest. Something happened to me this morning before we did the podcast, where I woke up. I was getting some coffee from my little Dolce Gusto coffee machine. I plugged it in. I got some stuff out, but it wasn't coffee.
Are we spawned? Are we spawned by Dolce Gusto?
Yeah. I hope so.
We're sponsored
Dolce-
by whoever will take us.
So I'm making this coffee, and something comes in.
Adam and
It's
Eve.
like this weird black goo, and I'm like, oh no, who could have done this? I turned around and Agatha was in my house, and I went, oh, Agatha, it was you all along, wasn't it? And then it was Agatha all along.
Oh my god. Can I tell you
Sean,
something about Agatha all along, actually?
Wait 1 second there, Emily. Sean, you promised me a good segue.
Yeah, you said a good segue, and I mean, like, Sean, I wouldn't usually criticize your segue skills, but that was weak.
I know. I was originally going to stand up in this chair and just scream WandaVision over and over again, but
WandaVision!
I think that would have been too obvious, so I wanted to try go for like the Agatha route. Plus, I mean, come on, it's Agatha.
I really like WandaVision. Like, I think WandaVision was a really good show, and I think the majority of the show was really good. I thought that the peak of the show was roundabout when you're discovering the mystery. I think that like nothing will ever capture watching WandaVision as it came out, because as it came out, everyone was theorizing. It was just so interesting because, like, especially with those first few episodes, no one really had any idea what was going on. In the comic books, they have a plot like this, but it's called Vision, and it's Vision who does the thing. So like no one really had any idea where this plot was going to go, if we were going to get Billy and Tommy as and have Billy be one of the first, because in the comics Billy is one of the is a gay man and has a boyfriend. So everyone was very excited when Billy was announced, because they were like, oh shit, are they gonna like introduce the new Avengers and Wiccan is gonna be a big part of it? Like everyone was really like hyped and excited. And I gotta say, I really love the show, but I thought that the last episode was probably the weakest the show ever got. And I personally think that the way it ended wasn't very good, but it was never like they were never going to please everyone. And of course, with me being not really a big comic book fan and not really a big fan of action in general, well, in movies, I like it. In games, I like killing people in games. But like I
You heard it, editor. She likes killing people.
really find the sort of like wizard battle stuff that looked a bit Harry Pottery. I found it a bit jank and a bit weird.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
That's my take on WandaVision.
What about you, Martin? What do you think of WandaVision?
I kind of agree with Emily, but I also think that indirectly, the way that everyone theorized it kind of amped it up in everyone's head more than it should be.
Oh, of course.
Like the fact that it was, oh my God, they're going to get Reed Richardson. Oh my God, the aerospace engineer is going to be Reed Richards. Oh my God, it's going to be, it's just some person that she knows and has known for a while. I loved Paul Bettany's almighty troll of being able to go, I managed to work with that person I've never got to work with again. Oh no, this is my first time. And it was him all along, and he just wanted to be in the same screen as himself. I thought that was definitely British humor at its best there, where he was quite happy to talk about his rubbish. But yeah, I thought it was quite
The
good.
humor in WandaVision's really funny. Like the way that the jokes of the actual show, like the writing is probably the best it's ever been. Like the writing if I was to compare it to anything, it's very similar to how good the writing is in Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man's very funny, the writing is very on point, I think, and like the characters are relatable and funny, and like everyone who gets introduced is unique and interesting. I just think that it had a very like actually good Marvel sense of humor, because sometimes I think Marvel's sense of humor, especially with the movies, is kind of boring or shit. Like I think the fat Thor just sucked. I thought that was really shit and not funny. And I thought that like, and you know, I think I rewatched Ultron recently, and I just thought that like the humor in that and just Joss Whedon's writing in general is just shite. Like it's just awful. Like he's not funny, but he thinks he's hilarious.
Joss Whedon was the problem. I think
Joss Whedon is the problem with most
Avengers
of Marvel.
had the level of this is the humor that Joss Whedon got to set, and then everyone else kind of had to go with it. That's why everyone kind of is a bit like the general population's kind of a bit off of Ant-Man because it was written by someone else who has a different sense of humor.
A sense of humor that's more funny, in my personal opinion. It's written by obviously it's written by Joe Cornish and that other guy who's really cool. He's like his name Edgar Wright.
There we go.
And like their sense of humor is like I love both of their sense of humor for very different reasons. I think they're both very funny people. I think that they write very good movies, and they're both massive nerds. So like their sense of humor perfectly works. But I think Joss Whedon's sense of humor is just like really mean-spirited and like kind of just not very good. Like I don't know what it is, but it just comes across as it's written by someone who doesn't understand people very well and doesn't understand like, you know, like he wrote Black Widow saying that she was a monster for like having an abortion or some shit. Like that's just like not good writing. That's just, it doesn't make her sympathetic or anything. It was
never brought up again.
Yeah, it was just completely pointless. It was just literally, they literally
spoilers
just put it
for people who haven't seen Endgame. She's died, and it's just never been brought up again. It was brought up then, and then that was it.
It's because it was he got a lot of controversy, and back in the day, I was like a really big fan of Joss Whedon because I loved Buffy. And I haven't rewatched Buffy, but I would presume that like his writing is still annoying back then, to be perfectly honest. But I just like was younger, so I didn't really understand that, and I kind of blindly defended him, which was really stupid because as someone who's been through bad things and everything, I just don't think that like having that sort of writing, having that in the movie is like it's just kind of harmful and just comes across as a little bit shitty.
I think you actually accidentally said it best. You liked it when you were younger.
Exactly.
Very much he's got say 12-year-old to about mid-16 level humor is how he writes.
Exactly. He hasn't matured as a person really at all.
Yeah. Joss Whedon's the
But before we go any further, I'm reading writer at the same time, just to credit the writers of WandaVision, because I've got them in front of me, and it's several different people.
Yeah.
You have Peter Cameron, Mackenzie Dewar, Laura Dunney. I'm not going to shame this person by saying their second name because I cannot pronounce it, but Bob Ack is his first name. You've got Megan McDonnelly, Jack Schaefer, Cameron Squires, and then they obviously go for the people who created it, like Jack Kirby and stuff. Those are the writers who did each episode.
Can I say that I think that the reason why the show is like I think this that it definitely plays a part in why like the female characters in WandaVision are so much more well written than in any other Marvel movie, in my personal opinion. Like even Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I love Guardians of the Galaxy, it's really good, but the female characters in that are kind of not that well written, in my personal opinion. The characters in Wanda and Agatha and Monica Rambeau and fucking all of these characters, they're all so well written. Like they're all so interesting. Oh, and the nerd girl. Like all of these characters are iconic. They're all so relatable and
The nerd
fun.
girl.
The nerd girl.
Darcy, the nerd girl.
I love
Or-
the nerd girl. She reminds me of Oswin from fucking Doctor Who. She's like really cool. I love her.
We
Like
stand with the nerd girl.
we love the nerd
We
girl.
love the nerd girl.
I should say the actress's name is Kat Dennings.
Well, her name will always be the nerd girl in my head. But
But we have not covered the most important stuff here, and I feel
Yeah.
bad as a co-host for not bringing this up. Sean, what did you think of the series?
I thought it was alright. No, I'm kidding. I thought WandaVision.
Thank you, everyone. That has been episode 10 of
I thought WandaVision was very, very good. Like, I think it's probably one of the best things Marvel has made. Like, it's a very good sign that like
definitely.
their television shows are going to be like very good in the future. And the fact that like they were able to like have such a unique mystery to the whole thing, and the fact that like they were able to just sort of like have a unique study into the psyche of like Wanda, which is like so well done. Like it's so much well better. It's so better than like any of her appearances in the Avengers.
It's
films.
also, can I say like I'm sorry to keep saying this, but like her portrayal of the and just the portrayal of like actual trauma and grief is like
Yeah.
very good. Like
Yeah.
it's very surprisingly emotionally resonant for a Marvel property. Like it is probably the most like it like actually I haven't cried this much at a Marvel show, or I haven't cried this much at anything made by Marvel. I apart from maybe
Yeah.
Guardians Volume 2, but the end of Guardians Volume 2 really fucks me up. But
Well,
like
same.
but like that entire episode 7, just had me in like floods of tears because I found it very relatable. Like I haven't been through the sort of things that she's been through, or anything even close to it. But I think that like the way that they portrayed trauma and be going through so much stuff, and that leading her to do the bad things that she does, is just like really heartbreaking and like actually beautiful.
Oh, for sure.
I think that also the way that that Vision and her relationship are built in this film is just so much better than they have ever shown their relationship being in anything else. Like their relationship is so wonderful. Like it actually like you can tell that they genuinely love each other, and you can tell why they work together, and that's what makes it even more heartbreaking when he disappears at the end.
Yeah, like just the fact that like they're able to just have so much like dedication to these characters is just beautiful. Like it has like I think that's what makes me more hopeful about the TV shows of Marvel going forward. That they're going to have more interesting characterization for the characters, and I think you mentioned the trauma stuff. The episode where like Agatha and Wanda go through Wanda's past, it got to me real badly, mostly because like there's a part of the episode where like she goes back to her childhood home. I won't pronounce what was the name of the country she's from. I can't remember the name. Sokovia, thank you. I was gonna say Yugoslavia, but I thought no, Sean, it's not that. Anyway, so
that's a real country.
yeah, I know. So we go back to like Wanda's childhood, and the scene where like she's playing the Dick Van Dyke Show and watching it with the family. That I got really emotional watching it because not to get too deep and personal here, I had a moment like a couple of years ago where like something bad real happened, and it was one of those like things where I was like, well, I'm going to retreat into my little depressive cave here. Let me watch all of Breaking Bad again, just to sort of like vanish a little bit. And you know,
I think there's something to be said as well. Like the bit that got to me very similar to that, Sean, is the bit where she says, when she's watching, it's in the Civil War flashback, when she's watching the sitcoms, and they make a point of showing that like the reason why she loves sitcoms so much is because it makes her feel safe.
Yeah.
And I think that like the way that they portrayed the fact that people who have been through things often retreat into media to make themselves like not have to think about how awful their own life is just like they managed to do it in a way that like was very empathetic to people like that, and like didn't come across as patronizing or as talking down. I thought it was really good. And also yeah definitely
It just
really
bizarre.
liked it.
Aye, it bizarrely spoke to me in that way, and it's just I gotta commend Jack Schaefer and the writing team for just having such a moment like that, because like it I don't want to sound weird. It kind of made me feel somewhat seen, because you're like, oh, I've had moments like that
Same.
where I retreat back into television shows and movies just to feel safe. So it's great to see a mainstream show like WandaVision that features a
I
bunch of
also think that
superheroes.
like me and you both have autism, and talking seriously for a second, a lot of autistic people like shows which kind of have repetition or comfort for comfort, and
Yeah.
it becomes a sort of comfort thing. And I have a lot of that with like say Steven Universe and shows like that, where I know that the plot won't get like too well, not with Steven Universe, but with like Phineas and Ferb, I know that it won't get like too heavy. So it means that I can like sit and watch it and just relax and like not think about myself
Yeah.
for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just like
Mhm.
really nice and a really good portrayal.
Yeah.
I think that the way that the show ended, I thought that it was like I thought that it was a bit anticlimactic. I thought that maybe like I thought that like the bit where the house disappeared was really cool and weird, but like I thought that like Wanda just like leaving and all that. I don't know. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way that like they kind of put her through so much trauma, and then they just keep putting her through trauma, and she doesn't seem to ever get a break. And I just think
Yeah.
that Wanda just needs a hug, and I want to give it to her. And
Mm.
that's my take on Wanda.
That's a good take. I was gonna add to a point there with the whole autism thing, is that not only like the whole makes you feel safe, and also the repetition. I think it's also like the fact that you know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
So I think that was a quick point I was going to add there. But in the grand scheme of things of WandaVision, I think it's definitely one of the better things Marvel has came with, as sort of done in a while. Like, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy my Marvel stuff. Wouldn't call myself like a big like fanboy of them, just because like I've got things I kind of prefer over like the MCU stuff. But whenever they come up with a really good thing, like say Guardians 2, it's they'll knock it out of the park every once in a while. But man, WandaVision is definitely a great debut to start for your television like chain.
I really the one other thing I would like to say is I really wish they hadn't killed off Billy and Tommy, because Billy is a big character in the comics. I hope they bring him back, and I hope they make him gay. I hope they do it, even though it's revealed that it's been revealed recently that his boyfriend in the comics is going to be in it, but he's going to be played by a woman and not be a boyfriend, which has been something that's been leaked for Captain Marvel 2, which I think Disney, fuck you. You need to have queer characters, and if a character in the comics and is very important is gay, you need to not care that your investors aren't going to be happy. Because if you want people to if you want actual woke points, Disney, you need to actually try, and you need to actually put in the effort. Because like, think about how good for just the gay and queer community would be if one of the main characters in the new Avengers is a gay man with a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And not just that, a very cool, well-written gay man, because like everyone loves Wiccan in the comics. He's fucking awesome, and his boyfriend hulking is even cooler. And I just think that like it's kind of a very big shame that he isn't there, and I actually think that they probably won't bring Billy back because of China.
To put you at ease, Disney will hear you and be like, "Wait, no, hold on, we'll bring him into the show. He'll be in the background in 5 minutes, kissing some other guy. It's okay, it's fine.
Don't worry, we'll give you a gay character who will say, "Oh yes, here is my lesbian partner, and then we won't see them ever again in the film, and she'll be a cop, and in China she won't even be in the movie because they fucking cut it out. So
It's okay.
don't even fucking pretend to be woke, you motherfuckers.
It's okay, China. Wink. We can get rid of them. Anyway,
Oh,
one thing
and
about
also, can I
goes-
say one
there
more
goes
thing?
all our
They have a
sponsors
trans
for
character
China.
in Far From Home. They have a trans character in Far From Home, but they have in the comics that character is very important in that comic book. But in that thing, he literally is played by a trans man, which is very cool. But he has 3 lines. That's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why would you just do that? Like, you can't have your cake and eat it, Disney. Just fucking make your shows actually woke if you want people to actually commend you for the things you're doing. If you do that, you will become critical darlings as well. Like, it is just a good move for Western audiences. And sure, it might piss off some people, but those people don't like you like those people. If it's gonna piss them off, then who cares? They're fucking assholes. Like, yeah, fuck them. Anyway.
Yeah, and
But
this
I
Rant
should say
over.
the reason why I've been quiet for the last 5 minutes is I remember reading this article earlier on, but talking about the finale of WandaVision being a bit lackluster, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
is it actually had to be changed due to COVID. Is what
Yeah,
I'm
I read
reading.
that too.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Why did
They
it have to
had-
be changed?
They had basically, if you want the full story, Kevin Smith's podcast, Fat Man on Batman, it's one of his several ones, has the writer on it, Matt Shackman, who directed the whole thing, sorry.
Mhm.
And he's saying that they managed to actually get 10 episodes planned, but by the time they had done the 9th episode, there was no the pandemic had hit, so they didn't have a chance to do it. And there was 10 episodes planned, and I think it was the 9th or 8th episode was going to be a CSI type thing where they're trying to figure out where the Darkhold is.
Oh, that would have been so much better. That's so funny. That would be so good.
But unfortunately, due to the pandemic and it shut down all the productions,
That
they
really
had a time
sucks.
scale to come in. Yeah.
Oh, that really sucks. I thought it would be. I really liked all the parodying of other shows as well. Like, I thought that there was a lot of subtle references to even like little things in the comics, but also just little things in like sitcoms. Like, they had a parody in the Modern Family episode. They even had a parody of a sitcom that I really like, but no one else really seems to care about, called Happy Endings, because the intro was all literally basically the same intro. And I thought that was just a little cool Easter egg that seemed to be in there just for me.
I mean, the episode styles they've done are really well done. Like, even I heard some people say that the sitcom parts weren't that funny, and what
No, they
funny
were
to me-
hilarious.
yeah, well, I think for me, what made them funny was just the dedication to the whole thing. Like, if your show is so this and it's dedicated to this bit, I think it's a real winner in my book. Just because,
I
like,
thought Agatha was so funny in the early episodes
Yeah,
as
can
well.
we-
Like my husband. Like, that shit is just so hilarious.
Can we just take a minute to praise? We're
was
about
just
to
gonna
say
say the same
We've
thing.
been doing this thing.
Ah!
Me and Sean have been doing these episodes too often. Can we just? Sean's going to say the same thing. Can we take a moment to praise Catherine Hahn, just in
Yes.
general?
She's awesome. I fucking
Catherine Hahn.
love her. I
Me
fucking
and Sean
love her.
we watched an animated thing on Apple TV with her earlier on in the year. That was really good. Central Park, where she shows off her singing chops and her voice acting chops, and it's amazing. I don't think, I genuinely can't think of anything she's ever been bad in, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, like anything
she's
she's in,
great.
she just steals the movie. Like Step Brothers, she was also in that, and she's genuinely hilarious in that movie. Like like she has a scene with John C. Reilly where she manages to be a lot more funnier than John C. Reilly. It's amazing. And just in general, she's just amazing. She's just such a talented actor. And oh, now we're mentioning her. One show I recently watched was a show called what's it called? Oh, I need to fucking find the name of it. Called I Know This Much Is True, which is a HBO miniseries of Mark Ruffalo. He's really good in it. But Catherine Hahn has a main role in it, and she is phenomenal. It's a dramatic show, and she like not only can pull off comedy roles, but she can also be really good in dramatic stuff. and she can sing too. She's amazing. I just love Catherine Hahn, guys.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
great. She's great. And I think that like I actually can't wait to just see what she's in next. Like she's really good. And I've just got to say everyone is really good. The person Vision is like so great. The actor who plays him is really good.
Paul Bettany's great in everything.
Paul Bettany
Paul
is
Bettany,
amazing. Paul Bettany
if
is
you want to
so
watch
good.
a really good Amazon Prime original, watch Uncle Frank, where Paul Bettany is the main character in
Paul
it.
Bettany
Uncle
is
Frank
so
really
funny.
good.
I absolutely love him in this as well. He completely I think I have like a slight crush on Wanda and Vision. Like I think they're both just absolutely like that's being bisexual. That's being bisexual. You have a crush on Wanda and Vision. That is being bisexual.
Yeah, I love those two, and I think if neither of them, if neither Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, or even Catherine Hahn don't get nominated for Emmys this year, I'll be sad
Yeah,
because
no,
the
they need
three
to
of
win Emmys. I'm not just
They
saying that like,
probably
they should be
won't.
nominated. I
I'll
think they
be
need
a-
to be the like I know that there's a lot of like, you know, I understand where the sort of like not wanting to like give awards to Marvel stuff comes from because it is a big corporation and like all of that, but like this deserves it. Like there's so much good stuff and it's something that I think that like everyone I know has been talking about it. I've really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I think that like the last episode kind of sucks, as we said, and I think there is some stuff in the show that I don't like. But I've rewatched it twice now, and I really like it.
It's amazing. One little grievance I do, well, two grievances I have, not really with the show itself, more just like how some people interpreted it. Pardon me. Just had to get that out before I get onto the mega thing. Anyway, so for a while, a lot of people kept comparing it to like David Lynch stuff, and it's like, right, no, just stop comparing it to David Lynch stuff because David Lynch's stuff is like is like so like mysterious and whatnot that's hard to like detail. The only
I
difference of
think that
WandaVision is
I
that
think that I understand where the comparison comes from, but I think it's a misguided comparison
oh, for sure.
because the comparison comes from like probably those early episodes where you're not really sure what's going on and it's very artistically filmed. And I think there is a lot of Lynchian influence in the especially the first episode. Like the scene with the when he's choking on the thing, he's like and she's like, stop it.
Oh,
Like that scene is like really Lynchian.
yeah,
But
you can.
apart from probably that scene, and I wouldn't say that it's Lynchian in the slightest. I think that even though I love it, it is a Marvel show, and you
Yeah,
can
like
very much tell that it's like very Marvel-y, and that's kind and it's very similar to the comics, and I think that that's more what I would compare it to. It's not like a Lynch film.
yeah,
So
it's a misguided comparison. If that's the only thing you can go off on, that makes sense. But at the same time, don't. You're gonna get answers on WandaVision with something like Twin Peaks or Blue Velvet. You're never gonna get answers for those. And the second thing I'm gonna probably be thinking on, I think you two might probably agree with me on this. Can we stop this whole thing where you call a show or a movie terrible just because your fan theories didn't get validated? Like,
yeah, fuck
genuinely,
that shit.
Oh, yeah.
like you go
Twitter
on.
is all social media in their theories have basically ruined most shows because they managed to go, oh, these great, this'll happen and this'll
It's
happen.
really
and this'll
annoying,
happen.
actually. Can we talk about like there's so many channels clickbaiting WandaVision stuff at the moment, and all of their theories like they're it's a bunch of confident men who seem to like understand nothing about how like filmmaking how filmmaking works. They just want to see their comic book daddies in the media, and like they don't seem to really care if like that makes the show good or not, because like I think WandaVision's a really good piece of filmmaking. I don't think that it's like, you know, it's not a fucking comic book, guys. You know, don't fucking, you know, don't like people were like Doctor Strange is going to show up in the last 5 minutes. I mean, like, would that make it better? No. What makes the show good is its characters and its writing, and that's what it excelled at. So fuck your theories, bitches. The show was good.
Yeah, like honestly, it's really annoying. It's the same. Well done, Emily. That's well said. Like it's just annoying because if you're going to be the sort of person that watches a show or a movie and goes, "This better validate my theories," you're only going to hurt yourself because they're not really making it for you specifically. They're making it for a general audience. So when you're the sort of person that sort of says that, you don't really understand filmmaking, nor do you understand the complexities of like writing a show for a general audience. They're not writing it for you; they're writing it for other people. And if do you generally believe that things can get changed on the like a whole script and a whole film and TV show in the middle of its production can be changed just on a whim? Then you need to go to college and university because you don't know how the hell filmmaking works.
And also,
You know who I think we need to
if you
blame? I
think
think we
that
need to
this
blame
show is being
Kathleen
written for
Kennedy.
you need to go to therapy.
Sorry, Mark, what were you saying there?
I think we all know who is to blame. It's the woman that's destroying Star Wars.
Kathleen Kennedy.
is
God damn
Kathleen
Kathleen
Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Kathleen,
Kathleen
fucking
Kennedy and her
Kathleen
pink
Kennedy
hair
again.
SGW agenda.
Jesus
Kathleen,
Christ.
That
Jesus.
Kathleen Kennedy.
she makes me so mad.
Shall we wrap up, guys? Is that the vibe?
I'll tell you.
We have got around about 8 minutes left.
Mhm.
We'll do a quick round and then Sean will send us off into the night.
Mhm.
Where do you want? Well, no, I'll rephrase it. How do you think Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to go and compare to WandaVision? Because
gonna
we've
be
got
bad.
it in 2 weeks.
It's going to be bad. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to be bad. There's been some leaks and stuff, and the main villains of the show are like left-wing anarchists, and it seems
What?
like they're going for like it's going to be like a lot of like old like comics where it's going to actually be kind of right-wing in that stance. I think it will be politically bad. It might be a good filmmaking, might be good action. But to be perfectly honest, I don't really care about Falcon or Winter Soldier at all. And I do care a lot about Wanda. And I think that Wanda and Vision are just more well-rounded, well-written characters than Falcon and Winter Soldier, at least at this point. So I do not have much interest in watching it. I will watch it, but I do not have much hope for it.
Yeah, I'm interested
Sean
to
Boy.
see. I'm interested to see where it goes. I do love, I do like Falcon and Bucky. I think the two actors who play them are very, very good, and I would like to see where they take them as and develop them. Also, Baron Zemo as the villain is great because I think he's a very underrated villain. But a lot of people shout on him and Civil War came out, and I kind of felt the only person I was like, but guys, he was good. He had a goal, and he kind of managed to win. He did what Loki couldn't. Why am I the only one who sees this? Anyway, so yeah, I think it could be interesting. I think Baron
I
Zemo
think
could be
Winter Soldier is just like after watching Winter Soldier and binging all of the movies, yeah, he's hot. Like, cool. Well done, guys. He's hot, but like he isn't like an interesting character to me.
Yeah,
He's just someone who I don't care about. And to be honest, I'm more of a fan of like the sort of superpower characters. I'm more of that sort of bitch than someone who's like, I just don't really care for either of them's like superpowers. They're just kind of like, strong and
yeah. Well, that makes sense.
he can fly in a suit. Like,
Yeah.
cool, dude.
That-
well
that's-
done.
Yeah, that's valid. But yeah, for me, it's probably going to be okay. Probably not going to be as good as WandaVision, but it could be okay. Martin,
Yeah.
what do you think of what do you want from Falcon and Winter Soldier?
What do you want from me?
I think it's going to be all right. Politics aside, I've used my brain for the last 9 weeks, and I'm looking forward to not be using my brain as much. Perfectly honest.
I
been trying to figure out
I hate
everything.
Marvel shit like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, I like the action in Marvel movies, but I think the best action in Marvel movies is when it's clever. Like, that's my personal opinion.
I've used my brain for the last couple of weeks. Me and Sean have watched over the last year. Me and Sean have watched so many art house movies. I just want to see one guy with a metal arm punch another guy.
If I'm on your podcast again, guys, can I like come in with like a
It's
movie
never
for us all to watch?
It's never happening.
Of course,
I'll be a frequent. I love being on your guys' podcast. It's great. It means that I don't need to worry about any of the editing or anything. I just get to hop on, say some bullshit, and leave.
It's a good change. But anyway, unfortunately, dear listener, that's all we have time for today. Depending on how well the editing goes, we're really sorry, Martin. We're so sorry editing, Martin.
I am
We're so
not
sorry
sorry
we're doing
about the
this to
oil
you.
on my
We're so
clitoris,
sorry
but
editing, Martin.
I mean,
Okay. So this has been the Walking Skull. To our guest Emily Bison, what have you got going for you at the moment, and would you like to say anything to our audience? Make it brief this time,
yeah,
though.
sure. At the moment, I'm working on a lot of art. I've been doing a lot of drawing. I'm currently working on what else am I working on? Oh, I have some pretty baller tweets. I post on TikTok quite a bit. If you want to see some fucking weird shit of me making strange sketches, you can find me at Trashy Tran on TikTok. And you can find me on twitter.com at trashy transgender and at trashy transgender on Instagram.
Amazing. What a great way to cap off the podcast. So, Martin, how are you doing so far, sir? Do you have anything to promote? I guess.
Yes, I'm the walking part of the Walking Skull. You can sometimes
advertising the podcast
yeah,
you're on.
Yeah, you can sometimes find me inside. You can sometimes find me outside. Depending on what day of the week is, I'm normally on a construction site killing myself.
Oh my god, really? Do you work at a construction site at the moment? I haven't talked to you in ages. Is that true?
We're wrapping the show up. Shut up.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that afterwards. I've been Sean Sculligan, the Skull part of the podcast, overwhelmed with anxiety and thoughts about the future. But hey, one thing I want to promote to everyone listening and to my guests here is nothing but peace and love. Look out for each other.
Peace and love. Peace and love. I am warning you with peace and love.
So from myself, Martin Walker, and Emily Bison, thank you for listening. Have a good day or night, depending on when you're listening. And please
remember to fuck bitches and hoes.
That, and one more thing before I go. Piers Morgan, you're a little bitch.
Bye. I'll say bye normally. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.